Don't do that.
No,
Don't do that,
six,
guys.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone. Hello, audience.
Great job, class. Amazing work. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday brunch kids and comedy show, the April 11th kids and comedy class show. I'm so excited to have you all here. My screen is just showing Milo pretending to eat, so I hope that everyone can see that at least for a moment. Thank you all so much for joining us on this rainy Sunday afternoon. It's a bit gray outside here in New York, but the spring is coming. I don't know why I need to tell you guys about the weather. I'm so happy that you're all here to see all of your amazing kids perform. We've been working, this session has been going for about the last 7 weeks or so, since maybe late February. I'm so excited to show you all the material that these guys have been working on. It's really great and exciting. It's been a pleasure working with everyone. Just a little bit about my life and how things are going right now. I was very excited. I had one of my first in-person meetups with some of my friends in this sort of, medium vaccinated world, went out to the park, saw some people in a kind of open air environment. But I had kind of a bad experience. I went up to my friends. I hadn't seen them in so long. I was so excited. Hey guys, how's it going? And my friend was like, whoa, what's that sound? And I was like, what sound? And my friend said, you didn't hear that? It sounded like, like a Nickelodeon cartoon character tiptoeing across the floor. Alejandro, is that the sound it makes when you walk? I was offended. I said, no, of course not. Of course, I'm a regular person. That's not the sound that my friend said, Alejandro, could you walk to prove this? I said, no, that's an offensive ask. Then people started ganging up on me. They said, come to think of it, Alejandro, every time you open your closet, I see the same shirt and pants 10 times. Recently, we went in a pool together and you were immediately dry afterwards. Explanation, please. I said, you know what? I don't have to take this. I'm going home. I'm a cartoon character is what I'm saying. I'm a cartoon character. I realized recently that I do everything a cartoon supervillain does except try to take over the world. I scheme, I brood, I dress flamboyant. I really should be working on a weather machine. I do group activities alone. I go to the zoo alone. It's just like, all the families and couples and just me standing there looking at a dirty polar bear. Hey, polar bear's like, where are your friends? Well, I guess you're my friend now, polar bear. And then the polar bear borrowed money from me. So I'm going to move on a little bit, but I do want to tell you about something I've been really excited about, a guy who's really been inspiring me lately. I don't know this guy's name. He's an ear surgeon from Colorado who I found online. He's been an ear surgeon for about 20, 30 years. And what he does online is he exists on these question and answer websites. He likes one called Quora, where people come on, oh, how do I build a deck? How do I fix my oven? And other people can answer their questions. Now, this ear surgeon, he sort of trawls the threads looking for questions about ear health. And his entire point of his raison d'etre is telling people not to clean their ears. He swoops in I have a scab in my ear, I have hearing loss, I have ear pain, and he goes, you're probably cleaning your ears too much. Ears are self-cleaning devices. Any amount of cleaning actually worsens the process. This blew my mind. I thought you were supposed to clean your ears. I thought because there are Q-tips in stores, because there are ear candles, that this is a natural part of the sort of human hygiene process. It turns out we've all just been lied to by Big Ear or whatever. My mind was opened and I started to realize all the other ways in which society is sort of telling me that I need things, products, spending opportunities that are not real. I felt so like my life has been changed. I was so excited. I called this guy up. I tracked down his number. I called him in Colorado and I said, look, you don't know who I am. I just wanted to let you know you've inspired me. You've changed the way that I think about the world. You've made me more critical. And do you know what he said to me? He said, what? Because All right. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna start the show now. We're gonna get to the actual comedians here. Thank you so much for tolerating me. I'm gonna get out of your hair. We're gonna bring your first comedian to the stage, to the virtual stage, everyone. I am so excited to have the show starting off with this guy. He's been in a couple of our classes. He is so funny. Everyone, please welcome Gabriel Diane.
Hi. Thank you. I think I'm also a cartoon character. So talking about virtual stage, we've all been doing online school for about a year now. My God, have people lost their minds. So we all use our phones during class, but some people feel the urge to call you. You're like, hey, what's up? Why? Not only do people have the attention span of a walnut, some people have the IQ of a turtle. Someone FaceTimed me during the class the other day. Who does school in a bubble bath in the Cayman Islands? In my school, teachers can't force you to turn on your camera. I mean, they can ask you, but they can't force you. And we also do school on Google Meets and not Zoom. So you could just say your Wi-Fi is down and easily find the answers online. And no, I don't cheat, but at this point, why don't I? I actually think it's hilarious because teachers now have to find new ways to make like their tests harder. Like the other day, I was having a science test and it was a multiple choice question like test. And about 30 minutes in, I got a call from my friend. Why are you doing school in a golf course? That's not important right now. Did you get all of your answers as letter C? My teacher made every single answer C. I felt like I was being interrogated by a Mexican cop. It was psychology. It was manipulation. And we all failed, except for me though, because my Wi-Fi was down. Physical education became about mental health, which in theory is really great. But without exaggeration, for meditation, I've been told to take a nap multiple times. So yes, Mom, I am in school. That's another thing I don't like about online school is that people think that you like do less work just because you're doing it from home. So it makes you like seem like a lazy couch potato. But that has not stopped my mom from getting me to do stuff to keep me active. For example, maybe about a month ago or so, we drove to the Hamptons because she's a visual artist. And so we were leaving something off at a gallery. And so we went right after school on Wednesday. We stayed for Thursday, and then we left late afternoon on Friday. No, it's fine to do it there because obviously we're doing online school. And, you know, the beds were okay and the TV was nice, but there wasn't a kitchen. And, you know, typically that's normal. You can go down, you can go out and get something. It's fine. But this is the snobbiest place you can drive to. So I took that personally. There are no streetlights. Remember, I get hungry about every 30 minutes, and apparently you can't hard boil an egg in a coffee machine. But when it was Friday, I had 3 classes in the morning. I then had a lunch break right after, and then after that, I had a math class. So for the lunch break, we went to the beach and we collected seashells. It was great. It was really nice. But once we got back, the cleaning lady was on the second floor in the room, and she was about to get, you know, the room ready for the next guest. And she looks down and she says, "Hey, it's 12:30. We're supposed to be out by 11." We were like, "Are you sure they're here for this one?" She's like, yeah. You're supposed to be out. We were like, "Why?" She goes, "You're supposed to leave so that I can clean the room so that the other people can come in the room." And she got annoyed at explaining it to us. So at one point she said, "Have you never been to a hotel before?" So I looked at my mom and I said, "Have you never been to a kitchen before?" So anyways, we're scrambling to get her stuff and we're throwing things everywhere. And I have to be with CLASPA now. So I need to get the adapter to put on the Wi-Fi so that I can charge my phone. And it's a whole deal because my phone's about to die. And my mom also scrambling everything. It's like that scene in Naked and Afraid where they're getting like the 2 most important things that apparently for some reason that's the orange juice. So we're getting our stuff everywhere, and finally we get in, take my chicken nuggies, we're in the car, and we start to drive away. So about 5 minutes later, we start driving back home. And I haven't said anything in a while. And so my mom gets mad. So the second I unmute, I say,
10 miles, turn left.
It's 4 to the 3rd.
Turn left.
Mom, can you?
Ha ha ha, LMAO, you stupid little.
Mom, don't interrupt her. But from then on, she could not blame me for not participating. Thank you guys, that's my time.
Thank you to give it up, everyone. Gabriel, Diane, excellent. That was so funny. The evil global positioning system. Wow, I've heard so many, not so many, but I've heard a lot of bits in the last couple of years about like COVID schooling, and it just, oh my God, it just makes me think about the fact that I went to school in the dial-up age. Like Gabriel, you're talking about like, I had to get my hotspot, I had to charge my phone. I'm just imagining the old-timey like, boop, 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 like all those. Have you guys ever even, whatever, we can't have this conversation now. There's a show going on, I'll have to move on. We're gonna bring your next amazing comedian to the stage. Oh my God, I can see Milo. I can see Milo aping my motions. We have a lot of fun here in this class. Your next comedian is so talented. He's so funny. I love him. You're gonna love him. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Oliver Stern, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So I have this app called Citizen, and it shows you like all the different crimes going on in your neighborhood. And on every single notification I get, there's at least one person saying that it was de Blasio's fault. Like gun robbery in Queens. Get these bozos out of the city. They're not wanted. All de Blasio's fault. Electrical fire and homeless shelter. Get these bozos out of the city. They're not wanted. All de Blasio's fault. Pigeon poops on little boy. Get these bozos out of the city. They're not wanted. All Cuomo's fault. Just kidding. Still de Blasio. I mean, I can't believe it. Now, it's time for a halftime show, my bit, where Lil Nas X will sing Amazing Grace. While he does that, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Dogs with Clothes. Look, Susan, it's a dog with a bow tie. Who are you trying to impress? Michelle Obama. If you love frozen to microwave cafeteria pizza slices, thank Michelle Obama. And CDC, now that's what I call COVID. 2020, wear one mask, stand 6 feet apart. 2021, stand 3 feet apart and wear 2 masks. 2022, wear no masks and stand wherever you want. Cha-cha real smooth. Turn it back. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. Also, well, so back to old people, they think that they have advantage in the world because they got the vaccine. What? I was on the bus last week, and the elderly section in the front of the bus, like, you know, where old people sit, it was full. Full, I tell you. The last time I saw a place full of elderly people was the whole toilet paper fiasco last March. But like, I don't think old people can really adapt to our new society. They're not gonna like go to a restaurant and be like, "Sheesh, food bussin', no cap, respectfully." And like, what's with your Costco card? You use it as a flex. So what? You paid $120 to get into a grocery store, like carry a Poland Spring 12-pack and then we'll start talking. Maybe get the antibodies before you talk to anybody. And then I think that like if they're trying to fit in with Gen Z, that's like a big prank. But then speaking about pranks, I feel like people nowadays have like weird ways of doing that. Back then, you'd be able to call up a random number in a phone book and ask them if the refrigerator is running, and that would do the trick. My uncle would go to Starbucks, like a really packed one, like let's say in Union Square, and when the lady asked him what his name is, he would say Trump. Yeah, I got a iced caramel macchiato for Trump. I got an iced caramel macchiato for Trump. And the people would spread like it's a virus. I mean, like there are people trying to write their screenplays and guys taking a break off of work trying to explain the plot of WandaVision to one another. Trump, where? What? Ah. And then like speaking of spreading, like there's a virus. My friend, he would go to a restaurant and airdrop everybody a message that said, Is it just me, or does this food taste a little bland? Lots of sense of taste and smell. I don't think COVID's really fun to make fun of. Also, what about cancel culture? Like, that thing's getting crazy. Everything is getting canceled. Like, Aunt Jemima's now per milling company, the Washington Redskins, the Washington football team, Mr. Potato Head, Dr. Seuss, Pepe Le Pew. I mean, nothing's safe anymore in this industry. It makes me wonder what's going to happen in Disney World. Mommy, look, it's Minnie Mouse. Actually, little girl, you can't call me Minnie Mouse anymore. Minnie could be constructed as offensive to little people, and a mouse is a rodent and might associate with some low-income housing rodent problems, which could be a political issue. Plus, I can no longer identify as female because that would upset some certain communities. So now I'm called fun-sized mammal. Want to take a photo with me? That's all my time, folks. Good night.
Oliver Stern, everyone, the immediately disappearing Oliver Stern. Excellent. Oliver has his finger on the pulse of New York with regard to their feelings about de Blasio. Sometimes I'm like, does everyone really, like, I hear Oliver's joke and I'm like, does everyone really hate de Blasio that much? And then I walk past a copy of any local newspaper and I'm like, oh, yes, indeed. That was excellent. We are going to keep this bullet train of a show moving right along. I am going to bring your next amazing comedian to the stage. He is so funny. He's been doing incredible work with us. Please give a warm and excited welcome for Conan Van Riper, everyone.
Hello. Apparently lying now gets you really far in life nowadays. But when I was 6, my mom told me, whenever you lie, you'll never become successful. There was this one girl about, 12 in my school who lied about things like my dad is the CEO of Amazon, or I swam with Katie Ledecky, or something stupid like that. We could also tell if she was lying. Like, we thought that she was Pinocchio for a week until we actually measured her nose. But one day she said, I'm allergic to water. That's where I draw the line. I replied, then how do you drink anything? And she replied back, I use a straw. That still makes no sense. But my friend here decided to grab one of those Home Depot water containers filled with water and ice, I might add, and without hesitation, dumped it on her. About a week later, she stopped coming to school, and we asked the teacher what was wrong. And she replied that she was in the hospital because of her allergy, and she was treating her wounds. And we were just stone-faced because we put Amanda Bezos in the hospital. Speaking of pain and humiliation, have you ever been kicked in the face before? Me neither, except for this one kid who once did in my karate class. We were sparring, which is basically just a pillow fight and boxing mixed together. I was about to punch him in the gut, but instead of him sliding to the left like Cha-Cha Slide says, he ducked and got punched straight in the face. And everyone around me was terrified and backed up a few steps. I asked if he was okay, but then he just got up and left. About a week later, he came back to the class and he challenged me to another spar. Everyone was just still stopped talking to me, so I sacrificed my dignity for my first friend. But he somehow managed to miss his punch and hit himself in the chest. And everyone was like, wow, this guy's really bad at sparring. And I was like, exactly. Can you be my friend now? They said no, but at least I got closure. Like brothers are, they're competitive, but my brothers were special. They could turn the most relaxing game into a nightmare. Because my brother, having the attention span of the new Disney Marvel shows, he asked for a Wii console on his birthday. And it came with a game called Go Vacation. It's a really relaxing game. You can ski, you can swim. But my brother decided to have a chase. And if he caught up to me, he would waterboard me. And my mom came up with this clever idea that we would get waterboarded in her garden. so we would water her plants while we were still having fun. But one day, my brother lost, and he decided to go full Street Fighter on me and just tried to punch me in the gut. But my mom had another clever idea and decided to put the Wii in front of him so he would stop while trying to punch me. Nope, he just went through it like the Wii was my self-esteem. That's all, thank you.
Keep it going for Conan Van Riper. That was amazing. It is a dangerous world for Conan Van Riper. Excellent. That was so funny. I just want to point out to everyone, while we're still in this sort of early part of the show, that we have a chat window in our sort of YouTube window. And if you would like, you are certainly encouraged to participate in the chat. Give some encouragement to your and other comedians. Say if you agree with some of their jokes or anything like that. We love for people to participate. So, have fun and enjoy yourselves. And we are going to continue with this show. I would like to introduce you to some of the other staff. I would not have been able to do this class without the amazing co-teaching skills of the other staff members who you will meet periodically throughout the show. For now, I'm going to introduce you to our Kids in Comedy intern. She has been helping out, giving everyone notes and helping the class run along smoothly. She is so funny. She's been part of the Kids in Comedy for a long time. Please welcome Kayla Mccannon, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so good to be not seeing you guys. Just wonderful. I want to break up our regularly scheduled programming to talk about something that I hate, and that is infomercials. I truly believe infomercials are probably the worst thing that society has brought upon itself. They're just advertisements for products that solve problems that are not problems. Like, let me give you an example, okay? The guy comes on the screen, he's like, don't you hate it when you're pouring water to drink and then you accidentally spill some on the table and then that water gets on the floor and then your grandmother walks on the floor and then she slips on the water and falls and breaks her hip and dies and then you get charged with involuntary manslaughter? I don't think anybody knows that feeling. But that's not the worst part, because then they bring you a product that does not qualify as an invention, as like this all-potent solution. They're like, our team of scientists has been working on a new solution to your water needs, okay? We call it the cone with a hole in it, and you pour your water through the top, and it comes out clean on the other side, no mess, guaranteed. I know what a funnel is. You can't trick me into thinking that this thing does not already exist. I mean, are these things aimed towards people who've never left their houses before? Because I can do that. I can make my own infomercial. Yeah. My elite team of engineers has been working tirelessly on a new vehicle. You take 4 wheels and you put a board on top. You can use it to get places. You can skate, if you will. And we're calling it a roller plank, and I will be taking investments when the show is over. Oh my God, they're just so aggressive. My mom gives off infomercial vibes, when she's teaching me stuff or scolding me. Back when parties were still a thing, occasionally I would ask her if I could go to one, and she'd let me go. And she'd say yes. She'd drive me there. She would drop me off. She might even walk me up to the door of the party, only to grab my arm as I'm about to walk in and go, "Don't do drugs," and then just walk away. Which I wasn't even thinking about drugs until you said something. I don't understand the logic behind that, because hypothetically, if it was my goal to do drugs, is that supposed to be the thing that stops me? Let me paint a situation for you. Hypothetically, I am going to this party to do drugs. She says that to me. I walk into the door. My friends are all in a circle. getting their drug things ready. And they said, Kayla, welcome to our weekly Doing Drugs Club. Are you ready to participate? Am I just going to be like, no, I'm not ready. My mom just told me not to do drugs. And are they just going to accept it like, oh, dude, no way. She said that to your face? She told you not to do drugs to your face. Oh my God. No. Wait. When did she tell you not to do drugs? Right before you walked in? Oh, dude, no, you definitely cannot do drugs now. Oh my goodness. Let me make you a sandwich. It's going to be okay. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome. Keep it going for Kayla Mccannon, everyone. Wow. I just love the idea of doing drugs club as though it is like an extracurricular activity that people would put on their college resumes and stuff. Well, I'm glad that that you disappointed doing drugs club and that they made you a sandwich. That was amazing. That was such a fun set, so funny. We are going to continue with our students. We're going to bring our next hilarious comedian to the stage. You know him, I know him. Maybe you don't know him, but maybe you do. He's been here with us for a little while. I'm always excited to see his performances. Please give it up for Milo Pesca, everyone.
Thank you. I just said thank you way too much. Anyway, a lot of weird things exist. Not bad, but weird. For context, weird is somewhere in between Borat and my past comedy routines. One thing I find very weird are conventions. Conventions are for two types of people. One, people who want a shirt, something to be signed. The normal people in this case. The other people who go to conventions are cosplayers and furries. Cosplayers are people who dress up as their favorite characters, and they can only be good in one case, Disney. That's right, Mickey Mouse and Elmo from Times Square. Get out of here, get out of here. Whenever you take a picture with one of those Times Square people, you could see the inside of their costume and smell them. I never realized that Cookie Monster smelled like Axe body spray in a bad way, but now I do. The whole concept of conventions is supposed to be about meeting people who create your favorite content, like authors, TV show creators, directors, and YouTubers. But then again, it's also about squeezing every cent out of everyone who goes there. But nowadays, everyone tries to do that. There's a reason I've never been to a convention. And no, it's not about the cosplayers, capitalists, or the fact that I'm not interested in anything enough to go to one. It's because of something that happened to my babysitter. My babysitter always went to Comic-Con, and she also got a mark on her head for her religion, but that's completely unrelated and has no relevance to the story whatsoever. When she went to Comic-Con, she asked one of her favorite actors how he pulls it off, and he went up and whispered, "If you're offered this much money, you can pull everything off." It made me realize the whole point of these conventions is kind of pointless. You have special moments, but the person doesn't really care. It's really sad. People seem to be fine with it, but I don't want to fangirl or sim for some famous person. I want to get to know them. It feels like they don't care. Oh, wait a minute. This is a comedy routine, not a motivational speech. Let me think of something funny. 1 second later, she gets sniffed by someone dressed up in a giant nose. Conventions are weird. Very weird. Like having eggs and cake for breakfast. Not eggs and steak. Eggs and cake. I'll probably never go to a convention, but I'll always remember where my babysitter told me I got my toe signed by Mark Miller. I guess the creator of the MCU has a foot fetish. Either that or my babysitter likes getting her foot signed a little too much. I have a weird thing in my life, a really weird thing. I'm practically only friends with Jewish people. Keep in mind, I don't try to do this. It just happens. I go to school, I make a friend, and I see them later in Hebrew school. I literally only have the only friends I have that aren't Jewish are named Siddharth, Hilme, and Musab. And by that point, it's pretty clear that I'm just trying to pick names that are about 0% Jewish. At this point, I'm probably going to make a form that goes around and asks people one question and one question only. Are you Jewish? If they check the box, They're not my friend. If they don't, they are, just to be safe. This can't be the genes because my brother is trans atheist. Wait, that came out wrong. What I mean is he claims God's not real. When I say, oh yeah, then how was the earth made? He said the Big Bang Theory. When I looked it up on Google, I saw a 12-season sitcom. I got reasonably mad. Well, that was my second reaction. My first was, you know it's fake when a 12-year-old kid says the Big Bang Theory. Since the day I haven't believed in the Big Bang Theory. Keep in mind, I'm not a flat earther. I'm not anti-vax. I pretty much hate Amy Cohen-Barrett just as much as I hate Amy Schumer. And that's saying something. Yet I still don't believe that the Big Bang Theory is real. You can call it my Jewish heritage, but I don't call it a 9-year-old saying the Big Bang Theory. When I asked him where he wanted to work, he said The Office. It was a sitcom. When I asked him his favorite government department, he said Parks and Rec. Also a sitcom. When I asked him what happens when you die, he said nothing. Okay, that one was just sad. Okay, back to the bit. Because my dad's half Catholic, I at least have some Christian friends, right? No. Whenever I try to make friends who are Christian, we both end up so awkward. They're either way taller than me or way shorter than me. So I'm either looking up or looking down, and I think I might be developing early signs of back pain way too early. Whenever I try making friends with someone who is Muslim, I have too many questions. How do you fast for so long? I couldn't do that. Is a mosque more like a temple or a church? Would Muhammad Ali beat Muhammad in a boxing match? Okay, the last one's too far. You might say, well, at least your Nana will be happy because you'll only bring back Jewish girls, but most of my crushes weren't Jewish, so I guess I have the worst of both worlds. Sorry, Rabbi Gelfand. All right, that's my time. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye. Well, I'm still going to be here, but bye.
Keep it going. Keep it going for the hilarious and unpredictable Milo Pesca. Great, very, very funny stuff. All right, we'll keep the show moving along. I'm gonna bring your next comedian out to the stage. He is also hilarious, also been with us for a very long time. I'm so excited for you to hear the material that he's been working on. I'm very excited for it. I know it's a very funny set, and I'm excited for everyone to see it. I'm very excited. So everyone, please welcome the hilarious and mysterious Julian.
I get it. You guys can stop bullying me for my haircut. I don't like it. It makes me feel insecure. Now, as we all know, both the video game industry and the film industry are known for being a great inclusive space where no one ever gets their feelings hurt. And I can't even say that with a straight face. In reality, both these industries have a long history of actually damaging minorities and other groups, and only now they're trying to repair it. For example, Twitch, the video game live stream platform, decided to remove the tag blind playthrough. Blind playthrough, in case you don't know, means first playthrough with no prior experience. They did this to be more inclusive to blind people. I don't know about you, but I don't think blind people watch Twitch all that often. Like, imagine just sitting down and closing your eyes and hearing XQC cuss out a child, or somebody going PogChamp for about 7 hours. It's not a very enjoyable experience. Also, imagine telling a blind person, oh, hey, you know, they got rid of blind playthrough. They'll probably be like, yeah, you know, that's great. Only if I could see it, though. And now the Oscars made it so that 2% of your cast or crew had to be blind in order to get the Best Picture award. I think instead of mandating how many people you can hire for your company, you should mandate how many times Angelina Jolie is allowed to kiss her brother before the police get called. And it's starting to get really stupid, like the Baltimore Orioles, they decided to put Braille on their uniforms. As we all know, during the 7th inning stretch, all the blind people come down from the stadium and they rub the players' chests. Speaking of strange, let's talk about Australia. Australia, it has one rule, and that is do not mess with the animals. Because the animals, they run things down there. In fact, there's an animal aggression chart. It goes from Tasmanian Devil to Gordon Ramsay. Back in the 1920s, farmers actually tried to challenge this order by declaring war on emus. Emus, in case you don't know, are like cheap Walmart ostriches whose faces kind of look like Boris Johnson. The Australian government carried out this war by bringing out machine guns, and they mounted turrets onto cars to try and kill these birds. But the birds would just run away anytime they got close. So they were only able to kill 1,000 out of the 20,000 emus out there. And they wasted millions of dollars doing it. So the Minister of Defense actually had to go out and surrender to the emus. The emus responded to him by pecking him and running away. You know, I have to deal with silly things like technology. Recently, I was going through my phone library and I saw a photo collection of each one of my family members, including my dog, accurately labeled with their blood types. And another time, I was mentioning Snoop Dogg in a casual conversation, and my Alexa played Snoop Dogg without me saying, Alexa, play Snoop Dogg. Both Amazon and Apple say their products do not spy on you and they cannot do any things I just mentioned. And these companies would never lie. So that means they're trying to be my friends. They probably learned I had no friends from that very private conversation I had with myself about how I had no friends. And even got to the point where I went on a date with my Alexa, but I had to cut that relationship short because I tried to buy a Google Home Mini and Amazon started recommending me coffins. Another thing that happened was I tried to buy an Android phone and my iPhone wallpaper had an X over my face, but I'm not good at multiplication, so I don't really know what that means. The final straw was when I tried to get a Windows computer, and then all of a sudden the ghost of Steve Jobs and a blind emu broke down my door, and Steve Jobs said, if you don't return that computer, me and little Stevie Wonder here, we're gonna return you to God. And I just sat there and I was like, wow, no, that was really rude. So I kept the computer. Anyways, I gotta get out of here before an angry vegan tech guru and his blind parrot come to beat me up.
Keep it going, everyone. Julian. Oh, that was excellent. Oh my God, that was so funny. Optimistically navigating the tech dystopia. Julian. Amazing set. That was so great. We're gonna continue moving. You know, we're in the final piece of our show, and we're moving towards our final comedians. I just want to introduce you to my other fellow staff member that I have been working with throughout the session. He's been also helping to give notes and working with people. I mean, you know, going above and beyond to make sure that everyone is ready. And he is a hilarious comedian in his own right. He hosts the pro shows. He's been with us for many years. He is the co-teacher of this class as well. Everyone, please welcome the hilarious Luca Libera.
Hey guys, you know, nice to be here. I am a intern. I guess now I'm also a TA. The whole Zoom thing definitely has made my job a little easier. I used to have to bring your kids water. I now no longer have to do that, so a lot easier for me. But my resume has taken a bit of a hit because I used to be the senior hydration specialist at this local youth group, but no longer. Now I'm just a guy, I guess. But it's been good. You know, I go to college at NYU. I'm a senior now. They just canceled our graduation. But in return, they said they were going to send us a care package, you know, to make things right. So I received it yesterday. There was a metal straw in it, and that is all that was in it. So mission accomplished. I wish that was a joke, but that's all that was in it is a metal straw. So you hate to see it. But you know, it's been good being out here in New York. I'm originally from Brazil, moved out here for college. I feel like when I first got here, I had a lot to learn, you know. New York's a tough city. I didn't know if I was tough enough. Like I was too much of a pushover. First day I was here, the guy told me he liked my shirt. I ended up buying 6 of his CDs. You know, just the sort of thing that happens. His name was Cash Lamore. CDs, he was like looking tough. He had some cars, champagne, money flying everywhere. I was like, if you got it that good, why are you asking me for money on the street corner? You know, I should be asking you for money. But, you know, things got better. When we used to do in-person shows, obviously I would say I was from Brazil, but sometimes I get some comments after the show. Like one time I said I was from Brazil. Somebody came up to me after. He was like, oh, it's cool that you're from Brazil. What part of Brazil are you from? I was like, São Paulo. And he was like, you don't say that like you're from Brazil. Because I was supposed to be like, São Paulo, you know, and start sambaing or something. But this guy wouldn't let it go. He kept asking me, like, are you actually from Brazil? I hate when people say, like, do you even speak the language? Like, people say they're from a place, but they're not actually, like, is it a distant? I was like, please relax. And then he kept at it. He was like, if you're actually from Brazil, like, prove it from Brazil. So I robbed him. That definitely did the trick. Best way to prove that you're from Brazil. But after that, I feel like I'm used to New York now. Things have been good. I'm used to online classes. That was also an adjustment at first. Like, I remember I used to try to game the system. I thought online class, this is an excuse not to pay attention. So first couple of weeks, I was like watching TV. I had my Zoom set up. My camera was on. They could see me, but I had the volume real low, like real low. And then one day I was doing that, and I kind of hear, like, back in my ear, the teacher just going, like, raise your hand. And I look at the camera, she's like raising her hand. So I'm like, she's probably polling the class, right? I'm just gonna raise my hand real quick. So I open the Zoom to see what I'm raising my hand for. It's very dead quiet. She goes, okay, so just Luca then. Luca, how long have you been a Beyonce fan? And I was like, word. So that was me for the rest of the semester. Big Beyonce fan in the class. Definitely nice. Got my driver's license here too. I feel like that's, we'll talk about that last. It's too easy to get your driver's license here in the US. Like, all you have to do, it's pretty much like you show up, you say you want to drive this 2-ton killing machine, and they hand you the wheel, they hand you the keys to their own car almost. Like, you just have to pass the written test. I studied like all night for this written test. I thought like I was really gonna have some very challenging questions. I get there, first question. If you drive drunk, your judgment is A, impaired, B, not. And you only need to get 70% to pass. So I didn't even need to necessarily get that right. Like, I could have been driving without knowing the effects of alcohol on the human body. But I ended up actually failing my first driving test, the actual driving test. I failed because I parked too close to the curb, not touching, too close. So I failed because I did too good of a job, is how I feel about it. Very weird. Like Milo, for example. Milo, are you here? Would you say that you're a good student?
Yes.
Well, you're expelled, buddy. That's how that works, I guess. So unfortunate. Thanks for participating, Milo. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And the worst is, like, I was going home after that driving test, got home at night, I was watching the news, and I saw this big crash that had happened on the highway. There was a drunk driver. His car completely flipped over. He was fine, like no one was hurt, but it was a big pile up, and it was just weird to me. Like, I couldn't imagine what this guy was thinking, like what his thought process was. He was out drinking the night before, steps into his car, gets behind the wheel, like vision starts to get a little blurry, just thinking, man, I think this alcohol might be impairing my judgment a little bit. Oh, that's what I got wrong on the written test, of course. All right, guys, thanks for your time. You've all been great. You're great kids, great sets. So I appreciate the time.
Keep it going, everyone, for Luca Libera. Amazing. I also had to take my driving test twice. It's the points, you accrue points for things that you don't really understand. And but yeah, I mean, there are some states where you do not have to parallel park. Which strikes me as insane. But like, in the Midwest and more rural parts of the country, you just need to be able to pull in. All right. Well, I don't have a joke about that, but I agree it should be harder to get a driver's license. We're going to keep this show moving right along with our next comedian. He is a regular here at Kids in Comedy. He has been with us for a long time. He is part of the program. We love him very much. He is very hilarious. And I cannot wait to bring to the stage Harry Lebo, everyone. Please give it up for Harry Lebo.
Thank you. You sounded like it took everything out of you not to pronounce my name wrong, and I appreciate that you still did.
Indeed.
I feel like you were practicing that in the mirror this morning. Anyways, I have the body of a woman that like just got pregnant. Like conception was 2 weeks ago. The baby's due in January. But if I keep eating, I'm gonna hit that second trimester. And when you gain weight, you realize who your real friends are. Because, well, for me, it's none of them. Because they all lied to me. No one told me I was gaining weight. Not once did I hear a Jonah Hill comparison. I look like Jonah Hill if he didn't get the girl at the end of Superbad. But they just let me get bigger and bigger, like a water balloon that you forget to take off the faucet. That's right, I'm a water balloon. I'm round, I'm red, and I'm delicate. My biggest fear is that a 6-year-old's gonna come up to me and throw me. Like, if you had to, thank you, Alejandro. If you had to rate me on a scale of 1 to 10, the scale would probably break. But eventually, my friends couldn't lie to me anymore because they got caught, and I mean that literally. They got caught in the door frame because of how wide I was, and they still tried to lie their way out of it. They were like, "Did this door frame get narrower?" But there's certain disadvantages when you're fat. Like I can't go to stores in December because people think I'm a mall Santa, but I'm also 5'4", so they think I'm an elf. So children just get really confused when they see me. I took a seat in the food court, and a kid came up to me and said he wanted a big wheel. I asked him what that was. He said, "Don't worry, you wouldn't fit in one." I've been looking at a lot of colleges lately, and when you go on these tours, they ask you questions. It's almost like an interrogation thing, but it's nice that someone wants to get to know me. And a common question I get is, "What other schools are you looking at?" And that's a weird question to me. That's like going on a date and saying, "Hey, who else did you match with on Tinder?" So when I was on this college tour, this tour guide asked me what other schools I was looking at, and I was like, "Oh, this is the only school I'm looking at." And she was like, "Wow, you must really like the school." And I was like, "No, this is my last option. I've been rejected by every other school." They did a very well coordinated dance number rejecting me all at the same time. They were like, "We don't want you." They had their own melody to it. It was amazing. It was the most beautiful insult I've ever received. But uh but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I saw a 13-year-old boy driving the other day, and I knew he was 13 because his eyes didn't go over the wheel, but his hair did. And he was actually a better driver than me, which is an assumption because I've never driven before. And I don't think that's a super weird thing. It's like how some people never leave the country or eat cheesecake or experience true happiness. But whenever I see someone from school driving, I like run up to the car next to them and warn them. Like I give them a pamphlet with everything I know about the person. Like, listen, if you're gonna get into I-95 with this person, you gotta know he hasn't passed geometry yet and he's 17. There's this one kid at my school who drives a Honda Civic, and it's super tricked out like a sports car, and which is weird to me. That's like getting a hot tub for your trailer. Um, it's like, yeah, we don't have utensils, but check out these bubbles. All right, you guys have been great. That's all for me. Thank you.
Harry Lebo, everyone. Harry Lebo. Keep it going for Harry, everyone. Excuse me. That was so great. That was so very funny. Guys, I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're almost at the end of our show. We have only one more comedian remaining. That's the bad news. But the good news is that your final comedian is absolutely incredible and hilarious, and you're going to have such a great time watching her set. So everyone, please give a warm round of applause for Julia Cantor.
Alejandro, thank you so much. Year after year, show after show, I always appreciate your compliments. It's my favorite part, honestly, of this entire time. So hello, everyone. As Alejandro mentioned, I'm Julia Cantor. And something that you may not know about me is that I spent about 5 summers of my youth attending a Jewish summer camp called URJ Camp Eisner. And shockingly enough, these were not the best summers of my life. You know, when you put an 11-year-old with a Manhattan-fueled superiority complex in a bunk with 13 other girls from the suburbs, it's not exactly an environment that's going to foster everlasting friendships, you know? And like, you know, these girls weren't necessarily cruel to me. It's just that I just spend my summers explaining why New York City bagels are superior and why the concrete jungles where dreams are made are so much better than the malls they spent their Saturdays at. But anyway, so, you know, obviously COVID put a bit of a damper on the other summer plans that I had. And so I decided, you know what, why don't I try applying to be a counselor in training at Eisner? And what CITs do is basically learn how to be counselors without really the responsibilities of being a counselor. So, you know, I begin my application process, I go through it, and then I encountered a roadblock. You know, they wanted me to list 3 places where I had already worked. And I found this a bit ridiculous because what sheltered Jewish teenager has had 3 real jobs in their life, you know? At most, like they've had an internship at their father's law firm, or they spent their bat mitzvah ordering the waiters around, telling them where to place the centerpieces, you know? So not great stuff to work with. Me personally, this application process turned me into an expert storyteller. You know, I turned cat sitting for my neighbor into full-time volunteering at the animal shelter. I turned helping my sister sell Girl Scout cookies into rock solid entrepreneurial experience. And I turned teaching my baby cousin how to swim into heroically saving several toddlers from drowning at the community center last year. So, you know, bit of a way around it. But even so, right off the bat, I felt super entitled to this CIT position simply because of the traumatic experiences I had at this camp. For example, one summer on a unit hike, I fell into a ravine in front of the guy I liked, and I had to spend the entire hike smelling like dead fish and rotting moss and lake water, which is definitely not a good smell. And then speaking of smells, why do teenage boys, when they go to summer camp, completely forget about the convention of showering and wearing deodorant? It was so ridiculous when I went to camp. Like anytime I would walk into like the dining hall or the meeting place, I would get hit with this disgusting smelly wave that smelled like every single drop of sweat those prepubescent boys had shed that summer. Truly terrible. And then speaking of truly terrible experiences, I am a junior in high school, which means I've spent the last couple months, you know, looking into colleges, signing up for the SAT. And if I had known that giving my personal email to the college board meant I would get like 20 emails from random colleges every single day, I probably would have given them like a burner account or something, because no respectable college would want to send emails to Harry Styles' Please Love Me Back at yahoo.com. Unfortunately, I did not have the foresight to do this, which means now, like weekly, I get emails from Texas Christian University or Joseph Smith University in Utah. And as a Jew, I am clearly not their demographic or their target audience. And then speaking of not being a school's target audience, I keep on getting emails from military schools. Like for months, West Point would email me every single day. And you know, at first they tried to coerce me into looking at their emails. They'd fill their subject lines full with emojis, because that's how you get teenagers to open emails. Or they would offer guidance on how to lead me through this college process. But because I'm a very non-confrontational person, I ignored those emails for months. I was like, out of sight, out of mind. I don't care. I don't want to hear what West Point has to say. And then once they realized that it wasn't working, they started sending letters to my house, which meant they had my address, which made me really scared, because what's going to stop them from sending some Private Ryan to my doorstep to drag me into the interview office? And so finally, I'd had enough of it, and I realized that West Point really was just a clingy ex that could not let go. So I had to draft my own rejection email to them, and this is how it went. Dear Colonel General Smith of West Point Enlisted Office, hello. It's now been months that I've been hearing from you every single day. And while truly, this is me holding their hand, while truly I appreciate your attention, I just don't think I am the right girl for you. You know, I can only do the 10 required push-ups of the Presidential Fitnessgram. I have never done a chin-up in my life, and the only time I was required to run a mile in gym class, it took me 18 minutes and 26 seconds. So I really don't think I am the applicant of your dreams. Best wishes with all your future endeavors, Julia Cantor. That's it. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed.
All right. Keep it going.
Thank you for watching the show.
Everyone. And keep it going for all the comedians that you have seen today. Keep it going for yourselves for being such an incredible audience, and keep it going. Keep it going for my amazing staff members, and for Joanne and Stu and Matt, everyone who makes this possible. That's our show. That's our Sunday morning afternoon show. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's been a pleasure working with everyone, and we will hopefully see you next time around. Please, sign up for the next round of classes. Think about summer camp. Tell your friends who are interested in comedy. We love to work with as many people as possible. So I'm gonna say goodbye right now, and let's all wave goodbye, students.
Smile and wave. Smile and wave.
All right. And we don't know how long we're gonna be on like this for. So we'll just hold with the wave.
All right.
Excellent. We're all doing a great job. This is part of the class.
Good job, everyone. We're done.